Rob, let's take a look at those ramps. Let's take a look at those ramps right now. There's the ramp leading up to the main. Look at that sucker.
That. It's huge.
Holy
I mean, how do you wall that off?
Jeepers, man.
Do you make a macro nexus? No.
You can't, because it would take 3 nexuses to cover that ramp.
Yep. And you might be wondering, there's a lot of criticism actually for you know, pro players are like, okay, this map is kind of unplayable for Protoss, it seems.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell that right off the bat. Protoss need those force fields. They can't make that many units early on. They need their economy. And a lot of players complain about force fields being a mechanic that, you know, it's not great for StarCraft 2. So Blizzard might have been like, you know what? Let's throw that map in the map pool and see what Protoss players do. Because, you know, if they can't use force fields, what are they going to do? Well, the answer is you kind of put the force fields there because they serve a purpose. That you kind of need them, right? So this becomes challenging as a Protoss player. And what do you do? Well, I'm not sure. Suppy scouting very diligently for proxies.
Proxy 2 gate, yeah.
I mean, Suppy's thinking, well, what are you going to do on this map? Because, you know, you play Protoss. There's going to be an issue. It's not that easy to just throw a crazy map out on the map pool and expect it to work. And as much as this map works for CVZ, and to some extent for CVT, Protoss versus Zerg is really tough. So what do we do? Here's the answer. Back in Wings of Liberty, Protoss hadn't figured out how to macro properly, and they would go for things like a 3-gate expand. That's a pretty safe way to expand with lots of units. Obviously, will delay your economy greatly, but I suppose you could apply some pressure with that. And that might be one of the few things that Protoss can actually do on this map.
Maybe, but we haven't seen anyone do that yet.
Correct.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I guess it's up to Nony. We'll just see how Nony decides to approach this map.
I'm very curious.
Do you think he's going to just do the same stuff he's done all the other games? Here's an interesting thing.
He can't do the same thing, right? Because he's taking that early nexus.
Suppy,
I think Suppy would punish it.
Suppy did not. Suppy did not go gas pool. He is taking the later gas.
That is true.
And he's not going to have the speedlings out in time to harass an early nexus like we saw in Huck versus Kane. Kane. Yeah.
Kane did go for that 14-14, and Nony is actually going for his standard build.
Just going to throw that nexus.
So
yeah. This is interesting because Nony is playing completely blind. If Suppy had opened 14-14 here,
that would be really dangerous.
It would be a build order loss.
To some extent. I mean, here's what could happen also. Nony did wall off at the ramp, which not every Protoss does, and not every Protoss
I mean, he'd be able to defend the main, but he would for sure lose.
Right, he could cancel that natural. But what Nony could be thinking is, if you make that many lings, that you're gonna be able to kill my natural before I can have Nexus Cannon out, then you're gonna be committing so much that you probably won't have a lot of drones, and I can just play a game from there, right? So it's a trade-off. It's like saying, maybe, you know, if you choose to do that, I'm gonna be willing to forfeit my Nexus and play from there, and that would be okay too.
You think that would be okay? I feel like that's
I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world.
It wouldn't be the worst, but I don't think any Protoss wants to play, because then the Protoss is stuck in kind of a limbo where, is the Zerg going to keep committing to lings? Do I have to make a lot of units? Am I going to be able to take my natural ever?
Right, it's a tough position.
Yeah, it's a really, really tough position for the Protoss to play.
But that's what I think his thought process had to be, because I don't see any other way that he could have defended that.
Maybe.
And
Nony the chill toss.
At the same time, Nony is a really creative player. Nony understands Protoss probably much better than you or I do. So,
which is why he knows enough to do the build that he's done 2 other times.
Right.
Probably.
And I'm sure if we asked him for a justification, he would give
he would have
a good one, yeah.
Definitely. Mothership Core is in front, ready to swat any lings.
And at this point, he's pretty much safe, right? Suppy is not an orthodox player. On this map, for example, sometimes when I choose not to go for the speedling aggression, you can do things like burrowed roaches. Because, you know, for the same exact reasons, there's no small ramp leading into them. You're not going to get him trapped. And you'll need like 2 or 3 cannons to cover the surface area of the natural. So burrowed roaches become really powerful on this map. But Suppy playing it really standard. And Nony with a pretty nice wall now.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely walled off. Looks like he is going to lose that pylon over there unless he can get a sentry around a force fielded in time.
I think he will.
Oh, is he going to... No, he does not get it down. Oh,
misses it.
Oh. killed Lings exactly as he wanted to, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was actually his plan. So,
A couple extra gases going down for Nony, and he does have that mothership core out.
So we're gonna see the same focus last game, already getting that forge, adding the 2 gases, and the robots should go down shortly if we're gonna see the exact same play from Nony.
Yep, do a little skirmish in the middle. Lings are going to run to the natural. I would expect to see Nony warp in a Zealot or 2
Oh
there.
no, this time he made this the 5th century, and that's, I mean that, you probably need a little bit more on this map than on the other one on Polar Night.
Sure.
This pylon is gonna go down.
Maybe.
Lucico
One
misses
more.
the force field,
Misses the force field. Nony needs to drop a few pylons now. Supply blocked here. He is about to move into the Zerg's 3rd, but he doesn't have a proxy pylon up, which does limit his options for
But we
aggression.
have seen how good those force fields are from Nony. Is he gonna? Yep. Oh, a little bit
premature there.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh,
He does
unfortunate.
go back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. He was able to force 5 roaches, though.
5 roaches and a ton of links,
And a
but
ton of links.
Suppy's going to be able to apply much more pressure on this map than he would on other maps. For all
Nony,
the reasons that we've been listing. Nony is not even sitting at his ramp, at his huge ramp, and he needs to. That's where he's headed now. Doesn't want to... Kills the robot.
The automaton, Tron?
I think it's a different one.
Oh.
Or maybe it's an automaton.
You know what? I bet there's
with
another
a
one
different
over at the
version.
Zerg
Yeah,
base.
we can go check it out. Yep, you missed it. Up. There it is.
Oh, I see it.
His name is LabBot1X, or was LabBot1X.
Well, rip in peace, Labbot. Oh, Nony trying to take the 3rd here.
Yeah, it looks
Is
like
he gonna
Suppy
have
will be
to
able to
cancel
force a
it? He
cancel.
does have to cancel it, unfortunately. Even the 3rd is hard in this map to take for the Protoss. The ramp to the natural is exposed with Nony's army way back here. Wide open 3rd, wide open natural. This is just not a friendly map for Protoss players.
It's just not. And on top of it all, it's really easy to split it with Storm Hosts.
Definitely. And
Luckily
mutas are
for
effective
Nony-
too. Because you can go from the 3rd to the main, to the 3rd to the main. You'd have to walk the entire, path around.
Yeah, absolutely. Mutas being the very quick units that they are.
Oh, we got roaches in the 3rd of Nony. Roaches or Lings. Lings trying to force a cancel again. He's not able to get that cancel force this time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was going to say, luckily for Nony, Suppy is a very standard player. He is a player that, he usually has his way of playing. He usually sticks to it. I mean, he no doubt he can play any style. He will have many strategies. But he usually stays within the bounds of those strategies on what he planned. It seems more so than playing the map or the opponent. So, Nony moving out here.
A lot of sentries there. Unfortunately, Nony cannot just force field off that ramp because, again, the ramp is so large. But there's a lot of sentries here.
Not the best force fields, not compared
unless
to
he
last game.
completely walls it off.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to take this this hatchery.
Yes, he definitely will.
That's a really good move for Nony. I mean, not the
out?
greatest use of. Oh no!
The mothership died. The mothership core focused down by the queens and the hydras. I didn't actually think it would die that quickly.
Me neither. That was
That was an
great
error.
by Suppy,
No,
and I don't
Nony
think
should have
Nony-
force fielded away the hydras, but I mean, wow! I did not expect it to die that fast.
I'm sure Nony
Massive
didn't either.
drop.
That was really good by Suppy.
Massive drop in supply for Nony there. All of a sudden, that 3rd snipe that was really good, definitely not worth it anymore.
Oh, not at all. Now Suppy's just gonna go for the counterattacking. He might be able to end the game here. The Immortal
Maybe.
Falls, that's all of his DPS right there. Reinforcing
and
with
roaches
5 Link
here.
Stalkers. I don't think that's gonna be enough. This Nexus is definitely gonna fall, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the Immortal reinforcing, but it's gonna get focused down really quickly, and it goes down. So Suppy in a fantastic position to take the series now. Is he reinforcing? He's reinforcing with all the right units. He's making Zerglings. That's going to be the unit that's going to get to the other side of the map the quickest and be able to help buffer some damage as well as provide a little bit of extra damage to this Hydra Roach unit composition.
Yeah. But it doesn't look like Nony is going to be able to muster enough to defend here.
Yeah, he's already lost so many probes.
Yeah.
And his
Even if
entire
he was
army-
able to hold up this attack, he would be in such a disadvantageous position that I'm not sure he'd be able to bring it back. He is warping in 4 more gateways into his main. He will have 1 Immortal, a couple of sentries. Understandably from Nony, he does not want to leave the game at this point. If he leaves, he will be dropping to the losers match of this series, and Suppy will walk away with the win to the series.
Yeah. But he's most definitely in a pretty tough spot. Even the Contaminate going down on the robotics bay facility, whatever it's called. What is it called?
The Robo facility. The
The
bay
Robo
is the
facility.
Colossus building thing.
The Colossus Den.
Colossus Den. Suppy being safe, throwing down his 4th. Wouldn't be surprised to see like a maybe a hive soon.
Maybe he can do
maybe
anything
not.
at this point. I
Yeah.
think.
Does have to be a little bit careful. He could throw it.
Yeah, there's a Spire going down.
Spire going down.
Actually, Muta would be one of the ways you could throw it.
Definitely. I don't think Muta is one of those things where if you want to go for a base race or if you want to like do multi-pronged stuff, you can go for Muta. But against a Protoss that you're already this far ahead of,
Yeah, exactly.
like-
If the Protoss reacts perfectly to the Muta, if he scouts it in
Yeah.
time and makes the proper number of Phoenix, that might just be the the edge that he needs to come back into the game.
possibly, yeah. But again, regardless of what Suppy does, he's very far ahead, and Nony is very far behind. So this is going to be a very large uphill battle for Nony here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Only Immortals being warped in, no Colossus.
Storm being
unfortunately.
researched.
Storm being researched,
And that's, I mean, not gonna be the best tool that he needs against the Muta.
maybe.
It's a good idea. Had Suppy committed to
Hydra
Hydras,
and Roach.
which he sort of is. I mean, Nuni could potentially annihilate this army if he gets the
Maybe. I don't
storms
think
out
he's
in
going to
time.
have the Stormers in time, though, unfortunately. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Suppy has to be hesitant if he saw that High Templar.
Maybe,
He has
yeah,
to be
not
hesitant
knowing where the
in
Storm
minute.
upgrade would be at.
Yep.
And if Nuni acts confident here, he might be able to scare him off with the High Templar.
It's certainly possible, but nope, that's not going to be the
Nope.
case. Suppy's just going to go cancel the 3rd again. And that's unfortunate for Nuni. Storm still being chrono boosted. +1 range attack for the Mutas being researched by Suppy.
Interesting.
No Mutas being made just yet. But, this Suppy might be waiting to see if there's going to be Colossi out. There's not going to be. And, if he saw the High Templars, that might be his tell. I don't think Suppy wants to go into Muta. He has very little
he's got
supply
enough gas.
extra.
He'll probably make 8 and send him into the main, maybe to just pick up
Well,
some
no,
rogues.
I think the Spire for Suppy was, as
Road
we were
Lord?
saying, this is probably not the greatest idea to go Muta right now. Well, he wasn't. He was going Corruptors. He was
Sure.
anticipating a Colossus switch, but Nuni actually stuck to a Storm switch. So this is the best possible case scenario for Nuni, I think.
Okay. We got 9 more roaches coming out. This is kind of a scary... I would like to see Suppy go into
Suppy's
hive tech
maxed.
here.
He's not planning to go Muta at all.
Yep. I would like
And
to see Suppy kind of rush out some hive stuff here. I feel like the Roach Hydra Link army is the kind of army that you could completely lose for nothing if Nuni plays it perfectly. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Although
there's
again-
Force Shields, there's Storm out.
Yeah.
Suppy
Time
needs to
War.
trade efficiently. He needs to trade smartly.
He needs to not lose his entire army here. I guess we're going to see what's going to happen, though. No charge on those Zealots. Nuni just kind
Good
of...
Force Shields.
Yeah.
Oh,
He is going to be able to take out all the... Oh, good storms. The Force
Okay,
Fields were actually
storms,
really good.
actually.
He was able to take out all
yeah,
of
the
the...
Force Shields were great, but not great in combination with those storms.
Maybe, yeah. Was losing the Mothership Core. Good
Great
storms
storms
going down
now.
here. The lack of charge lots is hurting a lot. If those were charge lots, we might see this battle end a lot differently. But as it stands right now, the Stalkers and the Immortals are just kind of falling. The Archons do come into play, but he might be able to just barely clean this up. Charge just now finishes.
Yeah, I mean this was what Suppy wanted to do. This is, I think, the perfect case scenario for Suppy going and moving into that attack. He doesn't have a higher tech. He doesn't have Ultralisk Cavern or Burglars on the way. He doesn't even have.
Hive? Infestation Pit?
Well, I'm sure he has an infestation pit, doesn't he?
I don't think so.
Well, if he doesn't even have an infestation pit, then there's that. I mean, he doesn't. I was gonna say he doesn't have a Stormhost transition plan.
Oh.
So, Suppy was pretty committed to this army composition. He was anticipating Colossi, and Nuni deciding to fight out on the open, but there's not.
Not much he could have did else.
Yeah, that map is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Not to fight out in the open. I mean, where do you fight that's not out in the open?
Yeah, because the third is out in the open too, so...
Yeah. So
Pretty
the
rough.
storm's not being great, but
I mean,
You know-
losing the Mothership Core on the attack was
That
very
was-
close. Very
that
close
was-
to getting out. Very unfortunate for Nuni.
very.
The game was pretty much at that point pretty much lost.
Well, you could say that, but again, and here's to my point. I think that Nuni, with better storms, he missed 2 storms.
Sure.
Those, with a little bit better storms, but
Even if he would have won that
that's
fight,
what I'm
though,
saying.
he still would have been a huge uphill battle. Suppy was on
I think
4 or
I
5
think
bases.
exactly, but I think that depends on how convincingly he takes that fight.
Maybe.
Because those fights with Storm in him can be very one-sided for the
Sure.
purpose, like
Sure.
you were saying,
Sure.
right?
But, I mean, no charge on the Zealots. Zealots with charge and without charge are very different beasts.
Yeah.
Non-charged Zealots are kind of funny to laugh at. Charged Zealots, as Megumi puts it, are like mini Ultralisks. Which I think
Sure.
most players that have played against charged Zealots probably agree with, so.
Yeah.
But
I was always to the point that I was very surprised that Nony...
Miss the Storms?
No, that he actually almost made it back into the game. Because I think that if he takes that fight convincingly, and I don't think it was impossible to do with the tools given, he was back in it. 100%.
Maybe.
Suppy was still on 3 base, not mining his port. No tech 2.
Yeah, the lack of tech hurts.
Yeah.
Only Roach Hydra to reinforce
said, that fight went exactly as Suppy was planning.
Yep. So anyway, that means that Nony will fall to the losers match where he will play against
the loser of Neeb and Stay, so
Neeb. So he'll play Neeb, and then...
But that's after the winners match, which will be Suppy against
versus State.
What a game.
What a game.
What a game.
Wow.
Damn.
Those are going to be some good games.
Such wow.
Such very... Many game. Much... Very... Game. Yeah. So right now, I think Rob is looking at us from production like he wants us to say something. Is there something you wanted to contribute here?
Break.
It's going to break our necks if we're...
Oh,
commercial break. We'll be back in 3 minutes with the MLG GameOn Invitational with
State
Nony
versus Suppy.
watching State versus Suppy from the sidelines while he gets ready to play Neeb after that. So stay tuned for State versus Suppy. We'll be back in 3 minutes.